Today I want to talk about cover crop management and cover crop termination strategies. We've got lots of different cover crops growing out here among the 10 garden plots we have. Some of them are flowering and getting ready to be terminated. Some of them are just getting going, and some of them are kind of in the middle there. So today I want to show you these different cover crops, talk about what our plan is going forward and how we're going to manage them and terminate them and get them ready for the next crop that are going to go in those plots. And keep in mind while we're talking about all this that there is no right or wrong way to do this. It really just depends on what kind of equipment you have, maybe what your growing strategies are you no-till or do you not mind tilling, and how long maybe you have until you want to plant something else in that plot. So no right or wrong way to do this. I just want to give you a bunch of different ideas so then you can choose which method is right for you. So let's start off with this plot right here where we have some buckwheat growing. And buckwheat usually starts flowering in 4 to 6 weeks after planting, and this was, right about that time. Now we had some heavy rain, a little wind last night coming here, kind of knocked some of it down a little bit. We needed that rain. I had been having to run the overhead sprinkler on it a little bit just to keep it from dying. It had been super dry out here. But anyway, it's about knee high on me, probably 3, maybe 4 foot tall in some spots. It's flowering out here, looking nice and pretty. Nice ground cover there. Don't see any weeds popping up through there. Bees and the insects have been loving these flowers, feeding on these guys. And we usually have about 2 to 3 weeks from time of flowering to when we need to do something with this cover crop here before it starts making some viable seeds. We don't want it making any seeds, because then it will keep repopulating in this plot here when we're trying to grow vegetables in here. So we've got a few weeks to let the bees enjoy this, and then we'll need to do something with it. Buckwheat is the easiest one to terminate. Look down here, I can show you. So the stems on it are not woody at all. They're kind of hollow, in fact, and they break pretty easily. You can kind of break them in your hand there. So this one is the easiest to terminate, and you can do this with a mower. You can do it with a weed eater. You could crimp it, roll it and crimp it, however you wanted to. So if you have a smaller situation and don't have a lot of equipment to mow it or knock it down, buckwheat would be the way to go. So for this particular plot, my plan is to mow it in a few weeks, and then once I mow it, I'm gonna get my tiller and I'm gonna incorporate all that into the soil, and by that time comes along, it will be, should be early September, which is a time when I like to get some fall pole beans in the ground. So that's what I'm gonna do with this spot right here where I have this buckwheat. I'm gonna mow it, till it in, and then we'll be ready to plant some fall pole beans. And like I said, because this stuff is easy to cut, easy to break down, you get some really quick crop turnover with the buckwheat. Now let's talk about a little different situation here. So that buckwheat, we let it go all the way to flowering, and then we'll terminate it. Here in this plot, we've got some sorghum sudan grass. We did plant some sun hemp in here with it, but that sorghum sudan grass just kind of took over. And so this stuff here is probably a month or so old, and you can see here what I haven't cut. I kind of cut half and left the other half so I could show you the differences here. So this stuff is about 2 foot tall. We can pan down here. Just nice and thick in there. Nice dense coverage. And this is probably my favorite warm season cover crop here, this sorghum sudan grass. I don't know if we can find any. There's a few of those little sun hemp. There's one right there peeking up through there. But for the most part, the sorghum sudan grass is just kind of taking over. I wouldn't recommend mixing those two. That was just kind of an experiment we did. Now I know just to kind of plant the sorghum by itself and not try to mix it with the sun hemp. Anyway, for this plot, what we're doing is a mow and repeat kind of process. So what we want to do is, when this stuff gets about 2 foot tall, and the reason I say 2 foot tall is because when I mow these plots like this, I mow them on my little push mower here. Now my riding mower doesn't have a mulching kit on it. This guy does, so it's not blowing the grass anywhere, it's just kind of chopping it and dropping it. So I just set it on its highest setting, and then come in here and mow it, and we chop all that stuff, leave all that organic matter on the soil there, add some nice stuff to our soil, good little soil conditioner there. So I know that mower pretty well, and I know that this height right here is getting to the top of the range for all it can handle. Now if you've got a big brush mower and you want to let it get 4 foot tall before you mow it, go for it, you can do that. This is just what I do based on the equipment I have. My push mower can handle this height right here, but not much taller. So when it gets this tall, I come in here, and it doesn't take long at all. This plot here is about 30 foot wide by 40 foot long, and takes me maybe 10-15 minutes to come in here and mow it with the push mower. So we'll just mow it and then this stuff will start growing back, and it usually doesn't take long. In just a few weeks it will look like that again, and then we'll mow it again and it will grow back. And usually you can do that 3, 4, sometimes 5 times before it starts going to seed. When it starts going to seed, when you start seeing little seed heads popping up on the sorghum Sudan grass on top of these blades here, that's when you want to mow it and go ahead and till it in the soil, because we don't want those seeds in our soil. We don't want sorghum Sudan grass popping up when we're trying to grow vegetables here. So this is a mow and repeat technique, which works really well if you want to add those clippings, that chop and drop technique, to your soil, really condition the soil. Also gives it a little more cover there, you know, kind of shades it out. It's almost like mulching. And this is my favorite warm season cover crop technique, the one that I have found just does wonders for your soil. So we'll just keep mowing these guys. I'll come out here later and mow the rest of this, the other half of it. Now after I mow it, I do like to put some water on it to kind of kickstart that growth again on those blades there that I've cut. Now we're supposed to get some rain this afternoon, so I probably won't water this, but if we weren't going to get any rain, it looked like we were going to have a dry spell, I'd throw a little overhead water on it, kind of get it back going so it got back to that height pretty quick. Now I should also mention that you don't have to do this mow and repeat technique if you're growing sorghum Sudan grass. You can let it get up, you know, 6-7 foot tall like it will, wait for it to go to seed there, and just mow it all at one time if you've got a big mower that can take care of that, or maybe you want to use a scythe to cut it. So you don't have to do this mow and repeat process. You can do just like we did with the buckwheat, just let it go to maturity and cut it down all at once. Just depends on what you want to do. I like this technique just because we're getting that repeated addition of organic matter there. Now in this plot here, we've got iron clay peas, and we showed you on a previous video planting these guys. These look really good until we had a storm come through here and kind of knock some of this down, kind of blow it down. The rain kind of beat it down. Some of it has recovered a little bit, but it's not near as full and pretty as it once was. Either way, it's done its purpose. We are getting a little bit of nut grass popping up in there as a result of, you know, losing some of our ground cover. So we're probably going to do something with this pretty quick. We would usually like to wait till we start seeing some blooms, but the fact that Mother Nature kind of put a hurting on this plot, I don't think we're going to be able to wait until we see blooms. We've got, you know, a lot of good vegetation there throughout the process of growing this, so cover crop has kind of done its job. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mow this with my push mower just like I mowed that sorghum Sudan grass, but I'm not gonna mow it high. I'm gonna scalp it down to the ground. I'm gonna mow it pretty close. Then that may take a couple mows. I'm gonna have to mow it on a high setting one time and then put it on a low setting and really just scalp it down. I'm gonna mow this and then I'm gonna tarp it. And I'm planning on planting some cool season crops in here come, you know, early October or so. And so I'm not really got time, I don't think, to get another cover crop in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tarp it. And that's gonna really help with my weed suppression. And I'm gonna tarp this, and then I'm gonna pull back that tarp and probably cultivate that area, mix in a little compost, and then we'll be ready for fall planting. So the tarp is a good option if you've just got maybe, you know, just a few weeks, maybe, you know, just a month between when you need to terminate it compared to when you plan on growing stuff there. The tarp is also a great option if you're a no-till farmer. So what you can do is you can cut this stuff really low. You can put that tarp on there for a few weeks, remove the tarp, throw some compost on top, and you're ready to plant. Shouldn't have to cultivate it at all if that's what you want to do. I don't know if I'll have to cultivate this or not, based on kind of what I like to do. We'll have to see how much those roots break down as, you know, that tarp sits on there for a few weeks. We want to leave those pea roots in the ground as long as we can, because those things are fixing nitrogen, and we want to kind of leave all that root structure in place for as long as we can until we're ready to plant something else there. And now to this plot, which is not as pretty as it was, you know, 8 hours ago. That rain last night really kind of laid it down. There's so much vegetation in there, it gets loaded down with moisture, a good inch of rain, and it'll just kind of flatten it down. Looks like somebody's just been out there wallering in it. But once it dries off a little bit, it will stand back up. So in here we've got sorghum sudan grass and iron clay peas. We made a little cocktail with these two. And this cocktail works much better than the sun hemp and the sorghum sudan grass cocktail. These peas, while they're eventually going to get just completely shaded out by the sudan grass, they are able to kind of maintain a decent growth rate where they'll get up and compete a little bit with the sorghum sudan grass. We can see those pea leaves there. The sudan grass is quickly going to get taller than them, and they'll shade them out. But we did get some good growth, some good vegetation from the peas before that happened. We can see some more of that right there. But man, this is an awesome looking plot. Nice green, really thick plot of sorghum sudan grass. Really happy with this. And like I said, this should all stand back up. Now, I'm not going to do a mow and repeat technique here. I'm going to let this stuff get on up and get tall. I've got some crabgrass issues, some other kind of weeds. This is the plot, my weediest plot I have. And so I'm going to just let this stuff grow and grow and grow and keep suppressing and suppressing those weeds until it goes to seed. Because it's doing a great job of that right now, even though that vegetation is folded down there into kind of a mat. It's doing an awesome job keeping any weeds from popping up through there. So as opposed to the other plot of sorghum sudan grass that we're mowing and repeating, we're just going to let this go. And once it gets nice and tall and goes to seed, then we'll knock it down with a big mower. Now when you let something like this sorghum sudan grass or even sun hemp get really tall like that, 6, 7, 8 foot tall, keep in mind that when you do get ready to turn that plot over, it's going to take you a lot longer, because it's going to take a lot more time for all that to break down. So your turnover time is going to be longer compared to something like a buckwheat, which is shorter, or a situation I showed you earlier with that sorghum sudan grass that we're mowing. We can turn over that plot a lot quicker than we can when we let it get full height, like we're going to do this one back here. Now, I farmed that plot really hard last fall and last winter, so I'm not going to plant any fall winter crops there. I'll probably just turn around and plant a cool season cover crop there in October. So I'm not really worried about that turnover time there, and that's another reason why I'm just going to let it grow and grow and grow. Now right here we've got our sunflower cover crop with our Joker sunflowers and our chocolate cherry sunflowers over there. And these puppies are in full bloom. They look a lot better after they got some of that rain, although it kind of beat down the petals a little bit. But man, these Joker sunflowers, they just load up with blooms all over the place. There's old Mr. Honeybee there, getting him a snack. And we've got the chocolate cherries here, which is a darker petal. And a little bit of variation between some of these as far as the petal color, how dark they get and all that. But nice ground cover in here. Not a whole lot of weeds, if any, growing up in the middle there. And man, I've just really enjoyed this cover crop of sunflowers. Has a lot of good benefits for your soil, ground cover, you know, weed suppression. Also kind of provides some cleansing action for the soil. And it's just beautiful. Just nice to come out here and see this in the mornings and afternoons. And for this guy, what we'll do is we'll let these things bloom on out a little more. There's still a few blooms here, you see, that haven't opened up completely yet. So we'll let them do their thing. And once a majority of the blooms start to die, we'll just come in here and mow this. Now, some of these stalks are a little thick. I don't know if my riding mower can handle that. We'll just have to see. If not, sometimes I like to just take me a machete and I can just scoot down those rows real quick like, and chop those stalks down, then I can mow it. So I might do that. We'll just see if the mower can handle these tall stalks here. But this has been a great cover crop for us, and I'm not really sure what we're going to do with this plot here next. Might be a cool season cover crop in order for this plot here. But man, if you've never grown a cover crop of sunflowers, you definitely need to give it a try. And if you've been following along with our channel and our row by row garden show, you know that I've been talking about how in the next few months we're probably gonna kind of cut the cord on our market farming operation. Not because it's not profitable, just because I want more time to do more fun stuff out here in the garden. I want to focus less on production and just do some things that are fun to me, or they're fun to grow. And big plots of sunflowers like this is a perfect example of that. You know, I want to be able to use several of my plots to just grow a bunch of sunflowers if I want to, not have to focus on so much vegetable production. Just do more fun stuff. And that's what we're going to do in this plot right here where we had our South Anna butternut planted. We've got it cleaned up, been in here with a wheel hoe one time, and we just added several really neat varieties of dwarf sunflowers where the plants only get about 3 foot tall, but the heads are still, you know, good size, good normal sunflower size. So we're going to fill this guy up with more sunflowers and just enjoy that beauty in the fall. So I hope you enjoyed that little cover crop tour there, and hopefully you were able to pick up some ideas on how you can grow and manage, terminate cover crops in your vegetable garden, regardless of the scale. If it's just a few small beds, maybe 20 by 20 plot, or maybe you've got several little subplots like I do here. Like I said earlier, it's all based on what kind of equipment you have. If all you got's a push mower, you still grow cover crops very, very effectively. You just have to do things a little different. You know, keep them short, keep them manageable, so when you go to turn them over, you have some quick turnover time and you don't need a lot of big equipment to do it. If you've got big brush mowers, you can let those things grow on up as tall as you'd like. Also, if you're no-till, you can use a tarp. Just come in there with some compost after everything breaks down. You don't even have to cultivate those plots a lot of times. If you do like to till the garden, you can till it up, kind of bring any weed seeds you may have to the top, throw that tarp on there, and have a nice kind of weed-free plot there when you do go to plant it next. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell button so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And check out these other 2 videos right here that we've done on summer or warm season cover cropping. I think you'll really enjoy those as well. We'll see you next time.